If you're watching this video, it's probably because you need help finding the perfect pre-filter for your filter. I get it. We couldn't make it easy and make a pre-filter that's one size fits all. So let's start with the basics, identifying the shapes. There is round taper. Taper means that it's a different size at the bottom than it is at the top. We have oval taper, rectangle, and you guessed it, we also have rectangle taper. For you dirt bike fanatics, we also make a foam filter. What shape filter do you have? Now that you've identified the shape, let's talk about measuring to find the perfect size. Because yes, not only do we make them in all shapes, we also make them in all sizes. But before we get into sizing, you need to figure out what type of pre-filter you need. Do you need a pre-filter without a top? You'll need this type of pre-filter if there's anything impeding the top, such as a wing nut, or if it's a pressure fit. Looking for a pre-filter with a top? You'll need this type of pre-filter if there's nothing impeding the top. The next step is to figure out how you need the pre-filter to fit your filter. Now these fits are for filters without a top. Obviously, if you have a filter going over the top, there's only one way that it fits. The type of fit that you choose depends on how your filter is mounted. This is an edge-to-edge pre-filter. As you can see, the filter fits edge to edge. Next, meet our lip-to-lip pre-filter. This pre-filter meets each lip at each end. And finally, we have our over-the-edge pre-filter, which fits over the edge of the filter. Make sure to pay attention to this. The fit depends on what points you measure to, which we will show in the next segment, measuring for the correct size. Remember, be as exact as possible in your measurements. If you round your dimensions, your pre-filter will not fit correctly. For round filters, you will need to measure the diameter of the filter, which is the length through the middle of the circle, and the height. If it is tapered, you will need to measure this at the top and the bottom. The height, you will need to measure on a diagonal along the taper. Keep in mind that while you're measuring, you need to remember your fit. If you would like a lip-to-lip filter, you need to measure to the base of each lip. If you want an over-the-edge or an edge-to-edge filter, you need to measure to each edge. For oval filters, measure the diameter of the length and the width. The length is always the longer of the two measurements, as well as the height. For rectangle filters, you will need to measure the length, the width, and the height. Another quick reminder that when you are measuring tapered filters, make sure that you measure the length and the width at the bottom and the top, as well as measuring the height at an angle along the taper. Lastly, we have our foam filter. For this filter, you will need to measure the circumference, which is the distance around the filter, because these filters are shaped oddly. You will also need to measure the height on both sides of the filter. Now that you have all of your measurements, go to our website to find the correct fit using our search by size tool. Can't find the right dimensions? No problem. We also make custom pre-filters to fit your needs exactly. Contact one of our representatives today for pricing.